With mere seconds left in this game, Notre Dame has their kicker on the field, 62 yards away from escaping an incredibly embarrassing loss to Northern Illinois in their home opener. The score is 16-14. The kick has almost a 0% chance of going in, but how on earth did we even get to this point? And why is this upset so much bigger than what we could have ever imagined? We're gonna get to that, but if you want to catch some amazing upsets live, you're in luck because today's video was brought to you by SeatGeek. The NFL season is officially in full swing, and if you want to get your live football fix in, there's no better place to go than SeatGeek because they are the #1 rated ticketing app, and with more than 70,000 events on SeatGeek, you're never gonna have to worry about missing a live game. They put all the tickets from across the web in one convenient place, so you can be sure to get a good deal because they'll rate each one on a scale from 1 to 10 to guarantee that. And you know I had to come through for you guys. Use my code PUNTS for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code PUNTS. Make sure to click the link in the description and download the app so you will not miss a single game this season. So to start off, let's introduce this Notre Dame team. A team known for being a blue chip in college football, and they were coming into this game hot. Not only were they going to be piggybacking this season off the tail end of a very strong 2023 showing, where they would have to grind their way through the absolute gauntlet of a schedule, closely losing to a #6 ranked Ohio State, knocking off a #17 Duke before being knocked out of playoff contention by a top 25 Louisville team before rebounding by stomping USC the following week, finishing out the rest of their schedule with a 9-3 record, dropping only one more game to Clemson that year before smacking around a top 20 Oregon State in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. And it's not like they were looking weak. Sure, they lost their shockingly handsome quarterback and replaced him with Riley Leonard, but he was a senior, so people are still feeling good, especially as week 1 they marched down to College Station to take on #20 Texas A&M and looked incredibly solid. Their defense held them to a lone touchdown while picking off Connor Weigman twice. Their offense wasn't exactly shooting lights out, but there were no major mistakes while rushing for 2 touchdowns on the day, putting up over 350 total yards of offense and letting their third phase of the game help out as Mitch Jeter would put 3 field goals on the Aggies and Randall, their punter, would be effective at limiting the return and keeping the Aggies inside their 20 and on their side of the field. Their performance was good enough to bump them from the #7 ranked team overall to the #5, where they would now have their first home game against the Northern Illinois Huskies. Yeah, now, for the team that nobody expected, Northern Illinois. Who are these guys? Well, they were coming into this season with just about as average expectations as you could have for a team. They were coming off of a 6-6 season with no top 25 wins. Heck, they didn't play a top 25 team all year. In fact, their lone impressive win of the season came against a rising ACC program in Boston College as they squeaked one out in overtime for Boston College's home opener. Hey, is this like something that they do a lot? But aside from that, the only thing they had going for them was a chip on their shoulder, a desire to commit some atrocities against a Power 4 school in a home opener, and, oh yeah, a little bit of Maction magic. So for those of you who don't know what the MAC is, it's probably the weirdest conference in college football. The truth is, no one knows what to think about this conference, and they almost never have teams in the top 25 because they have this nasty habit of cannibalizing each other. On top of that, it seems like every week they're presenting some sort of crazy trick plays, insane special team performances, or just general tomfoolery to make them a total wild card of a conference to play against. You never know if they're going to get upset by an FCS team or upset a Power 5 top 25 team. But still, with how good Notre Dame looked, this game should have been a cakewalk. So with no further ado, lights, camera, Maction. From the opening kickoff screen, we would look at the disparity. A true freshman kicker, 9 total kickoffs ever, sending it off to a return man with a body count that would get him life in prison. But, like they may have learned on this kickoff, this game was going to be anything but a cakewalk. Notre Dame opened up the game with a drive that would make you think that this whole thing was complete BS. I mean, it was textbook. 13 plays, and aside from a holding call and an incompletion, everything was positive yards as they methodically marched down the field and scored, taking off 6 minutes like they were already trying to drain the clock and go to the next game. And on the flip side, things couldn't have started off worse for Northern Illinois. For whatever reason, the off returner decides to field a totally ignorable kick and returns it to the 2-yard line, already pinning them inside the 5 on their first play of the game. But 3 runs later, they would find some breathing room for a first down. Then another 5-yard gain gave NIU the confidence to move Brown to the slot, step back, and have Hampton, their quarterback, take a nasty hit as he delivers a strike to Ontario Brown, whose only coverage were 2 DBs on his side, one of which he beat head up, the other tried to jump the route, missed the ball, meaning it was him, bunch of green grass followed by the end zone, as NIU in just 5 plays has tied the game up. But you see, stuff like this happens all the time. Guys get a little greedy, they play down to their competition, but here's where the town of Notre Dame would just overwhelm the Huskies. At least that's what we thought, but suddenly, this NIU defense was feeling a lot more firm than before. They were swarming to the ball, they're playing with speed, getting off blocks. That Notre Dame talent was not allowing them to coast to free touchdowns, as they were now facing a 4th and 20. So they punted back just across midfield, but another huge Brown run would put them into field goal range, as they would actually just miss on scoring the very next play using their weaponized Maction wackiness. But the reverse pass had an errant throw, never made it to the wide receiver, who was wide open in the end zone. So they kicked the field goal either way, and suddenly they were winning, and not just winning, but they would pick off the Fighting Irish on a deflected pass, and another Brown reception would put them into field goal range once again, as Notre Dame would tighten up a bit too late as they would connect for another field goal and the 6-point lead. From here, NIU had them right where they wanted them, an evenly matched game where NIU was just playing harder than Notre Dame. They would bend but never break, forcing punts on all but one of their final drives on the half. And on the flip side, they would also be more than fine just punting the ball back with a 6-point lead that felt like a million. Until the final drive, the Fighting Irish would finally get into field goal range, looking to bring it within a single field goal before the half. But for Northern Illinois, it would be right where they wanted them. Lights, camera, action.
And this one is blocked by Northern Illinois. And now they're on the return.
NIU maintains the lead. The Notre Dame faithful are booing their team as they run into halftime. Now, we would see action go both ways in the second half, as the Huskies would drive to the opposite end of the field and miss a field goal of their own. But hey, it's not about points, it's about the drama, the tension. That's what the action is all about, especially as the ensuing drive, Notre Dame would go back to looking like the number 5 ranked team in the nation, as in 5 plays, they'd finish a drive with a big hurdle as Love gives Notre Dame the lead back. It should have been so easy for the Fighting Irish, shouldn't it? But it wouldn't be. 1-point games are to players in the Middle Athletic Conference like crack was to people in the 80s. It gives them a different type of neuron activation. From here, it would happen again. They would be punting off, but every drive for NIU was like they were practicing double-digit plays, draining off as much clock as they could. They knew if this came down to a 1-score game, only one team would be on top. Only one team was even prepared for this kind of monstrosity. Notre Dame was clearly confused. They would go 3 and out back-to-back times. As they hearkened in the 4th quarter, they had the lead, but why did it feel like they were losing? And then it happened. The clock struck midnight, the flame of Gondor was lit, under 6 minutes left in the 4th. From a clean pocket, Leonard would step up and underthrow it right into the arms of Knighton. And it was like destined for him, because it was. He would return it to the 50, and now was time. All those drives, all those double-digit plays, wasting time off the clock, accumulating in this play-by-play, rush by rush, second by second, they drained the hopes of the now cowering Irish until 31 seconds were left in the game and out-trotted Cannon Woodall, the perfect kicker name for the 35-yard field goal. So now, game on the line, the most hostile environment Northern Illinois would ever play in, and a 1-point lead being between the Huskies and Glory. And Cannon would say, "Brother, I played in a blizzard on a Wednesday night in October. I am fucking inevitable," as he drains it down the pipe. And if you thought he had a chance for missing, you were on pipe. Marcus Freeman pulls up the pen and writes a single word: fuck. But they still had 31 seconds left. Surely they could make a miracle happen, like it always does with the MAC, because they love some drama. So they squibbed the kickoff, but unfortunately they returned it to almost the 40, and one completed pass was all they need to get in within theoretical field goal range for former Gamecock kicker Mitch Jeter. They line up from 62. Northern Illinois gives a smoke as they seemingly just activated the trap card. Game on the line. Once again, turn on those lights, start that camera, and match.
Mitch Jeter, and